But here it is. My Tme Rs Evo 6.5. Welcome to today's video, guys. We are back in the storage yard. I want to do a little bit of work on the Evo, mainly like recon, I guess. I need to go through everything under the car and just triple check that there is like no like super bad rust that we need to treat right away. If that's the case, I'm going to get some stuff and we're going to treat it just so it's not going to get any worse while it's going to be in storage for a little bit, because obviously I want to try and save as much as I can. From what I have already seen under the car, everything looks repairable and it's mainly surface rust. But I definitely need to get a closer look at those trouble spots on Evos where the subframe mounts into the chassis rails. It's a very common place on these cars to rust out really bad. We don't want that to obviously get any worse if it's starting to rust. So we need to treat that if there is a problem there. So my goal is today, we're gonna bring the Evo out down there. I'm gonna jack it up, put it on jack stands, and get under there and just start looking everywhere with a light and everything and triple check. Pretty much we just want to go over the entire car and see really how bad is it. I know it's bad and it's definitely a fixer-upper like I've said, but I am adamant we're going to save this thing. So let's move this thing. Hopefully it's got battery. If not, we got a spare one here that we can jump it off and yeah, go from there, I guess. This is so funny because I was about to go to my car to get my toolbox to get a 10 mil to change out the battery that's in this, because I found this one here that has some juice in it. And lo and behold, there's literally a 10 mil here. I feel like every car I buy comes with a 10 mil somewhere hidden in the car. This thing's literally been sitting there for a while. I'm surprised it didn't budge when I was pressure cleaning this thing the other day. And speaking of pressure cleaning, this thing needs another pressure clean for sure. Just switched in the battery that's got some juice. Let's see if she's gonna start up. Is she gonna need any throttle or anything like that? I've been honestly so surprised with how good this thing idles and runs, considering it's been sitting for so long. Pretty much straight away. I want to take a quick moment to tell you about today's video sponsor, which is Dafski. And if you don't know what Dafski is, let me show you. This is Dafski. They're an online store and they solely focus on selling only the sickest air fresheners. Not only do they smell great, they last long, and they have so many really cool designs. I think what's really epic though is that they focus heavily on the Japanese JDM car community. So you can see here they've got a bunch of different Japanese ones there, but right now they have a ton of limited edition air fresheners available that are, obviously they're limited, so they're only going to be available on their site for a limited time. I know I'm saying limited a lot, but definitely go check them out. You get a Pokemon ball, the little cat, the mushroom, the taco, melon-chan, and a couple other bobble ones, a little Shiba dog, Japanese flag, US flag, as well as you can't go wrong with their original Ice Pop series as well. So guys, definitely head to dafski.com and get yourself a bunch of air fresheners so the next time you jump your car, it's gonna smell fresh. As well, guys, make sure you support the companies that support me. And thank you, Dafski, for sponsoring this video. Let's get back to the Evo. I'm pretty certain that like the IAC for the cold start needs a little bit of cleaning and some work. And this thing's got a twin plate in it too. It's honestly insane. Hear the chatter from the twin plate? At first I was like super worried when I started hearing it after driving it for a bit, because I think it was like a little bit seized up and it kind of like got a little bit free in there. But every time you use the clutch, right? Hear it? So yeah, pretty sick. It's got like some really crazy clutch in there. Anyways, oh boy, let's get this thing down there. Still like, can't get over how this thing just runs. seriously, how does this thing idle this good? Listen to this. That's crazy, right? All right, let's get this thing shut off, jack her up, and start inspecting and go over everything. I've got everything jacked up now. We're gonna slide under there. I've got my headlight and everything like that, so I can use that to really get a good look at everything under here. Luckily, I always come prepared. I got a tarp and everything to lie on. Now, one thing I have to say is, this previous owner did a lot of stuff under here. Like, there's Olins, whole bunch of like protection things all over the place, where they've like put this special rubber or like coating, kind of, I don't know if you'd call it a coating, but it's like these flaps and stuff. Now, what you're seeing here is mainly surface rust. Seems like there's one little spot there that we'll be able to fix pretty easily. But what's really exciting is if you see up there where it mounts to the rail, is it's just surface there. There's a lot of surface just like from this thing just sitting in the grass and stuff, right? But it's not deep. It's all treatable. Just really exciting. Even on this side, up in here, it's hard to see, but there is no deep corrosion rust except surface in that mount there where the subframe connects to the rails, which is super good. There's like, this guy's got skid plates on everything, like on all the gas tank, the fuel tank, all that kind of stuff. So the kid really looked after it pretty well, all things considered. And don't get me wrong, my plans are completely to strip this thing to a bare shell. We're gonna send this off to the body shop. Everything's gonna get worked on. But yeah, so I know a few people were really worried about these points here. And yeah, there is surface there. But like getting up and in there, you can really see like it's just surface. There's nothing deep. The only deep spot is here. And that is still treatable. Believe it or not, that may not be cut out. That could still be treatable because it's not like all the way through. Now, because I'm planning to strip this whole thing down anyways, I am going to probably cut that out and weld a new piece in. The other trouble points, mainly in this section here, once again, it appears to be mainly surface rust. Now in this section here, the little like rocker panel there, that's been beaten up by people just jacking up off it in the wrong spot and whatnot. So those will be getting fixed. Looks like there's a nice spider churn hiding in there. But yeah, that'll all get fixed. That I expected. That's just common. Rocker panels get destroyed, and like you gotta understand, this thing was used for rallying, so there's definitely a few like bumps and stuff where he's hit rocks and stuff. Like look at this seam all the way up there. It's been jacked up off incorrectly. Hard to see, but that'll get fixed too. And otherwise, it kind of looks like there's a bit of trans oil leaking on this thing. So we probably need to top up the trans with some oil if we're going to keep moving this thing around just to be safe. So I might get some trans fluid from home that I have chilling there. But like in all the big like problem rust spot areas on these, it's just a tiny bit of surface. I'm really surprised. So yeah, I mean even on this side you can see he jacked up there a little bit too, and it's like damaged the rocker part a bit there. So we'll fix that as well. But really, it's not going to be a big job to fix like this little bit of rust. It's all mainly surface. Everywhere I look, it's just surface. My finger goes through nowhere. So really exciting. Everything's still really dirty. But overall, like this car is surprisingly really clean. I'm really surprised. Hey, it's good. Yeah, I'm pretty pumped. It's seriously not that bad. All treatable. I might get some rust treatment stuff and I'll coat all of this just to stop the surface from getting any worse and to stop that one trouble point there. But that's it. That's the only like bad looking spot there, which isn't even all the way through yet. It's just like the first layer. So you could treat that and probably not have to cut it out, but I am going to cut it out. Then other points like this, like in the wells, really good. Really good. Still a lot of dirt and stuff in there we need to pressure wash out, but yeah, I'm thoroughly surprised at just how little bad rust is in this thing. Don't get me wrong, there's surface everywhere and it does have rust, but it's all repairable. Even like on the strut towers here, all surface. Nothing really on the seams here. There's a little bit surface coming through there. It's not deep, it's not bad. It's just surface and the off coloring coming on the white paint. So look, I saw some people in the comments saying like I may be able to restore this paint, and just being clear, like there's no way that this paint's gonna be restorable. Maybe, but it's not gonna happen. This whole car is gonna get repainted. At least that's my plans with it. This whole rear quarter panel, I'm gonna get entirely replaced. So that means, you know, it's gonna be like cut properly up here and this whole new section put in, which is gonna include this whole corner. The boot is kind of weird because it's like an Evo 5 boot with these red sections here, and you can see like the old Evo 5 wing used to be there, but then it's got the special wing here that I believe came with this, the Tme edition, the 6.5. I'm still learning everything, guys, so you know, like I said, I avoided learning about the chassis as much as possible because I thought it was never obtainable for me. But yeah, so there's something going on with the boot there where it doesn't fit right, so that's probably going to get addressed and fixed as well. We may be able to still use this boot lid that's here now. It's just we may need to change some stuff on it. My goal is to try and use as much as what we have here, just for the fact of us saving an abandoned car. Like, it's going to be super, super cool. Let's actually open the trunk because I really want to show you guys like all the stitch welding that's been done in this thing. And like, even this quarter panel is savable. There's some dents from the inside out from stuff rolling around there. The guy's gone and like riveted in some things to hold the bumper on. All normal stuff I expect to see with rallying. Pop the boot. So, everywhere, every seam has been stitch welded in this thing. This is probably the dodgiest welding I've seen here, so that's going to get grounded back, cleaned up and redone. But yeah, pretty much every seam has been stitch welded on this car, which is really cool. It's got a nice strut bar in the back here. You can see this rear corner really took a big hit when they kind of pushed it out. So that's obviously another big factor of why I'm changing this whole rear quarter. So the best thing about when they replace a rear quarter here in Japan, as long as you go to the right shop, this whole section gets like cut from like here, which explains why like probably the boot's not sitting right. It's probably tweaked a whole bunch of stuff here. And you can see like why on earth do they need wheel nuts there to space this out? I don't know. So something's definitely going there with this boot, but we'll get that sorted out. It won't be too hard. But yeah, this whole rear quarter is going to get cut out, replaced. If we have to do the other one too for some reason, like it's tweaked or anything like that, we might as well. I'm not too fussed about that. Like I said, my plan is to probably get a donor car if I can't get a lot of these parts brand new from Mitsubishi. So I know you can still get a lot of panels from them, so it'd be nice if we could just get this whole rear section brand new. Anyways, so I guess that's the main trouble area. The other places, obviously front fenders, I'm planning to replace these with brand new Evo 6 ones. All new side skirts, over fenders, all that kind of stuff is my goal to replace those as well. I guess the next thing to look at is going to be the hood, which as you guys can see is just completely broken. I think it flew up at some point on someone and just broke. Now I would love to get a new original hood for this that's not carbon, but I also do like the carbon look, so we'll have to see where we go with this car, like paint wise and stuff, and if the carbon's going to match. But I definitely want something that looks very similar, like with the hood vents and stuff like that, as the original Tme Rs. And then kind of like, yeah, I mean, we already talked about the fenders, like they're both probably going to get replaced, all the side skirts and body aero parts and stuff, bumpers. But all in all, the doors are pretty decent. I think these are all going to be repairable and easy. The roof is in really good condition. There's no like bad damage anywhere. There's a few kind of little spots like this here and there. That's about it. There's a little bit of like the sealant, the seam sealer kind of peeping up here with a little bit of surface again. That's not a problem. Like everything is super repairable, and it's not like cancerous, if you know what I mean. Like it's not like getting in there and breaking everything. So yeah, I guess let's look in the interior, which is kind of a little bit sad because you know, it's missing a lot of the original interior, which sucks. But we'll be able to swap in a bunch of interior from another 6 or something like that and just kind of make it work. Hopefully we can find some other Tme parts at some point. I mean, how funny would it be if we find like the original interior that went in this or something on Yahoo Auctions, and or I don't know, like I don't think that's gonna happen. It's probably a pipe dream, but it'd just be sick. Another thing to note is no power windows on this thing. This thing was really cool. Now I believe this is for the navigator in rally situations. Like you got this little dial here and stuff. Very cool. I love it. A little navigator light there. I'm gonna try and like restore and fix this because I think that's a really cool feature to just kind of keep in the car, just because of its history. I think that's really cool, bolted up there to the roll cage. The dash has multiple holes in it here. So like I said, my plan is we're gonna try and switch all of this out. Hopefully, it's gonna be an easy job. There's some other random stuff in here. Not sure what this is. Toyota Genuine Parts Reserve Tank Assembly. I guess that's like a coolant overflow bottle for a chaser. My engine oil can. Ah, some more oil. Good stuff. Good to know there's some oil there. We'll use that later. But overall, everything's pretty clean in here. There's a few holes and stuff like that from where the cage used to mount up to, which we're going to get. And we're going to probably, if we don't use this original cage that's in here, we'll find another one that's a little bit better on the interior. Maybe not so many points, because I believe like the cage that was in this was something ridiculous. Like it had like 12 points because it goes across the bottom there. It goes up to into there. Like it's insane. How many? 21 points? Wow, okay. So it's a 21 point cage. So we don't need anything that crazy. Just something, you know, we probably don't even need the doors. Oh, okay, yeah, they even did two, like the ones across the bottom here and then across up into here. So yeah, 21 point cage, far out. So yeah, I don't think I'm gonna go with this cage. I may still go with it, I don't know, it just depends, because we can take this out, clean it up, paint it, and we can leave the tabs here, just not necessarily use them. But if I do find another cage that is, you know, let's say it's just a 6 point, I'd probably go with that if it works nicer with the interior in the future. We got two genuine Recaro seats as well, nice buckets. Actually fit really well in this. These seats I will be replacing with bride seats. You guys know how much I love those, and they look after me, so we'll look after them. So I might use one of these seats for like my sim rig at home that I'm building. Yeah, I think that's kind of like the majority of the body and the interior. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Like I know it looks bad, but it's really not that bad. Like, don't get me wrong, it's gonna take a lot of time and effort and money to fix this thing, but it's nowhere near as bad as it could have been. Look at that hood. Engine bay status. So pretty much, once again, not that bad. Like I said before, there's a lot of surface rust in certain places. In this corner here, it looks like there was a little bit of a hit at some point. You can kind of see like some of the metal's a little bit beaten up and pushed and cracked. Surface rust in there as well. But engine bay wise, it looks pretty darn good. The motor sounds healthy. There's definitely some kind of oil leak down there, power steering, trans, I don't know, we need to look into that later. But my goal is to pretty much pull the engine and everything out, because we're going to go through and redo it all. We've got a Grady blow-off valve here, that's going to be going in the trash. You boys know, blow-off valves are only for little girls. And that's, yeah, I mean, like, there's not really much more to talk about. I'm pretty sure that maybe the ECU's been chipped and tuned at some point. That was just a very common thing that happened in Japan. And especially considering this looks like some kind of aftermarket manifold, it's hard to see the original like imprintation on this plate. Maybe once we clean it up, we'll get a better look at what the brand was. But normally when you see this kind of thing with a custom downpipe, like a lot of lobstering down there, not sure if you can see that, there's a good chance that the ECU's been chipped and tuned on this. So my goal will be link. Probably gonna throw that, like get rid of that turbo setup and go with something with a nice Garrett and stuff like that. But we can deal with that all in the future. For now, my goal is to just try to preserve this thing, get it to my future new workshop when that happens. And then from there, we just start stripping and pulling this thing apart. These weather strips are pretty cool. I like those. I was able to find the front bumper up in the yard. So I'm gonna try and see if we can zip tie this on today and just get a general idea of what this looks like. But just sitting that there, how cool is that? Yeah, that's sick. That's gonna get me pumped. We'll zip tie that on make it look just that little bit extra. Oh, another thing I found in the interior, which I haven't shown you guys yet, is I figured out a bunch of these controllers and stuff. Like they have a Cusco water sprayer controller, which is kind of like the Okachan water spray controller that I have in the S15, which is why there are so many like little pipes and stuff just running everywhere on this car, spraying the intercooler, the radiator and stuff like that. It's kind of like, it's really interesting, honestly. They have a lot of these like one-way check valves too, which is also really good. I might steal some of those for my other water spray setup on the S15. But yeah, intercooler wise, it looks like it's taken some hits as well. We'll get that all replaced and looking good, but everything on this car is really nowhere near as bad as I was anticipating. So I'm really happy, and the more I look at this, the more I realize just how much of a good deal I got this car for. Sorry, John. But yeah, anyways, at the end of the day, I'm just excited that we're going to be bringing back a legend. So I'm just zip tying the front bumper back on. This is an original like OEM one. It has a lot of cracks and stuff like that. This should be repairable as well. There's a lot of like amazing things you can do with like plastic repairing and plastic welding these days. So hopefully we can save this bumper. That would be really, really cool. Like I said, my goal is to try and save as much as we can on this car, because I think that'll just add to like just how special this thing is, you know, being able to save an abandoned car like that and keep as much as you can original. So I'd love to keep this bump up, but for now we're just going to zip tie it on there so it doesn't get lost and accidentally thrown in the garbage or anything like that. As well as it just makes the car look better, in my opinion, that it's got a front bumper on there even if it is trash. So we'll zip tie everything up. I'm going to use this random thing here. Don't worry, I'll cut the tails off later, guys. I know you guys hate it when I leave my zip tie tails on. And I'll get the other side, and at least it's got something kind of sitting on there. It doesn't look that bad. But yeah, I'm genuinely curious. What do you guys think? Do you think I've made a really bad mistake in buying this? I don't think so, but I'm curious to know what you guys think. Everything you've seen today, is it really bad to you? Do you guys think that? I mean, no matter what, I'm still saving this car, but I'm curious to know what your opinions are. And one thing I really want to make sure you guys know as well is, like, I guess, like, I'm not going to ever sell this car. That is not my goal. I do not want to make a profit on this whatsoever. My goal is to drive it. Like, I buy cars to drive and use for what they were built for, in my opinion. So, if I was to try and flip this for a profit, you know, fix it, I probably would not be showing you guys and being transparent with you with the rough spots and how much work we're going to be doing, you know, cutting out the rib quarter and stuff like that. I want to be 100% transparent with you guys. I want you guys to see everything that's involved. There's going to be blood, sweat, and tears, probably a lot of that. And I just think it's just going to make it so much more special, you know what I mean? So, yeah, bumpers on. For now, 4 zip ties. I'll cut my tails off, don't worry. Look, keep the commenters happy. Oh yeah, look at that, it's a new car. We can go get this thing shucking now, right? This thing looks like an entirely different car now that it's got a front bumper on it. Looks so good. It's crazy just how much a pressure wash and putting a front bumper on this thing has changed it. But for now, we're kind of done. Gone over everything I need. I got a pretty fair idea and a list of stuff that I need to start researching and looking into. But man, oof, these are some good clamps. Let's lower this thing. I'm so excited for this, guys. I really hope you guys are too. Go put it back up in the yard. I love that this thing has a front bumper now. So much better. Yeah, that's sick. So here's where I'm going to actually end today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed a little bit of an in-depth look at the Evo and what we are dealing with. And I want to make this very, very clear. This is not something that I said exactly the same in the other video. This is not something that I am expecting, and I don't want you guys to expect to turn around in only a couple months. This is a long-term project. My plan is 1 to 2 years to get this thing finished. So right now, my goal is now to start looking for workshop space, trying to find a shop that meets my budgets, enough space for cars, a hoist, and all that kind of stuff. And once we've got that, we get the Evo there, then we can start pulling and tearing it down and doing all that kind of stuff. In the meantime, I'm planning to get some rust treatment stuff to just try and coat as much as I can of that rust that we found today, just to prevent it from getting any worse. But for now, this is where the Evo is gonna live. I'm gonna get a cover for it and everything like that to try and, like, you know, help it with the weather. I don't think it's gonna be parked on any grass or dirt. It's gonna be on the bitumen part in there. So yeah, I'm excited to start pulling it apart and fixing it and stuff, but I also need to be patient. These things, normally patience is very important, and I hope you guys understand that as well. So hopefully we'll see the Evo a little bit more when we go to coat it, but for now, we may be saying temporarily goodbye until we get the shop and we move it here and everything like that. So with that, guys, smash that like button, write us a comment, and I will see you all in tomorrow's video. Peace out, guys. Jama.